What's up, guys? This is Robert, and it is time to take action. So guys, today's video starts right here. I'm back here in the sunroom, and it's all boarded up. We didn't take them down today because we've been focusing on the things that we need to do because we failed the inspection. And unfortunately, there's a lot of reframing that we have to do because the original framing in this house was nowhere near up to par for them to pass us. So let me show you what we got going on here. So here, you know, we studded that wall up. We had to take and make the top plates overlap each other and put in metal plates at the seams. And then we had to come in here where we had that brick wall. We had to frame that wall up because we couldn't have the floor joist from the upstairs on top of the brick to rely on that for support. So we had to frame this all the way up. Then we had to come in and make sure all the corners all overlapped each other. In here, we had to do the same thing. We had to rebuild that corner. We had to redo that corner, as well as that corner. We had to put pressure on the hot water side. We already had it on the cold water side, but they wanted pressure on both sides to make sure there was no leaks or anything like that. We also had to come and take the top of this and make sure it overlapped into that wall. So that is what we had to do in this area. So I'm going to take you up front and show you what we're working on this end. So as you see right here, Mr. Oviedo is having to take this up in this area right here because there's a hump in that floor. And unfortunately, when you get ready to lay tile, that's not going to work because then the tiles will break. So we're having to do some work on that one. As we come upstairs, the guys are up here working. And as you see, it's more open up here now because we're having to do a lot of extra framing up here. As you see this wall here, they've had to insert this 2x4 right at this spot in the same thing over in that area right there. We had to fix that area where the air conditioner used to be. As we come down the hallway, as you see, all this had to be reframed. Had to put a big header in there. So now they're at the other room, and this room you can see what we were talking about, how they have all of these studs nailed to the rafters, and we have to take that part and we have to put in a 2x4 all the way down. We had to redo this area. We have to put in headers at the doors. Same thing in this area right here. We got to put a header in there. We got to come in here and do the same thing to the bathroom because the inspector said that's not going to fly. So bear with us. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that wasn't intended upon. So stay tuned. So folks, this is what we're having to do to get the big hump out of the floor. There was a hump right there where that double joist is. So we had to take the floor out and put in a 5/8 piece of plywood, so that way once the Durock meet each other, then we can just float that area and take the hump out of the floor. So we're getting there. So guys, this is the very reason that it's hard to tell a client that something is going to cost a certain amount, because you can't put a price on something that you cannot see. And unfortunately, we're having to do all of this reframing in these upstairs, because this was done by the original owners, and this was something that was not done to specs, and it wasn't even permitted in the original plan. So all of this stuff had to be redone. They're making us tear down all this plywood like you see right there. We had to take all that down to reframe all this in order to make it all be up to code. Cutting all those loose right now, and we had to come in and install a new one right here. And the good thing it did, it allowed this AC to be pushed back into the wall like it needs to be. We got to come back and nail the wiring back to the wall, but this is a lot of work. A lot of work. You see, we got our 16-foot 2x4s. Definitely wasn't a part of the contract. But stay tuned. So guys, we are finally at the point that we are ready for them to come back and do another inspection. We have did a whole lot of new framing, everything extra that they wanted done to all of the old framing. We had to tear out more of the old framing and make the necessary adjustments. Even out here in the sunroom, where the original old stuff was at, we had to tear it out, and we had to redo it. So they almost wanted us to tear out the entire wall on the outside and reframe it. And we made some adjustments, and we're hoping that we're able to avoid having to do that, because that would just spell disaster. We are all ready here. The plumbing's ready. We got 63 pounds of pressure on both the hot and cold water line. We had to take up this Durock, and they made us reinforce this floor, resheet the entire floor. That was double work. We've gotten all this. They approved all this the first go around, said it looks fine. So we got all of that done. We got all the plumbing done in the bathroom. Everything's done in the master bathroom. We got our pipe here going up through the roof put a new pipe boot on right there, and then a new pipe boot in on the upper level. Take you upstairs and show you everything that got dropped on us. So as you see the wall here, we had to tear it down and reconstruct it. They originally had these studs attached here, and that wasn't the proper way to do that. That's the way the old house was put together. I guess they done things like that back in those days. Now, as you see, same thing on the other side. We had to tear all that out and do that too. We had to reinforce all of our door jambs. That's done. We had to come in the hallway. We had to reinforce the beam that's going across there. We had to come out and tear all this out. As you see, we had to redo those studs. We had to tear out the plywood that was on this wall here. Same thing in this bedroom. We had to come into the very same thing. Redo all the roof supports. Same thing on that side. Had to redo all those supports. We had to redo the closet. So now we have a little smaller closet, and we're able to do this bedroom like we did over there. Possibly put a built-in here and maybe have a spot for a TV. We had to come in here in the hallway, do the same thing there. Same thing in this upper bathroom here. You see what I mean? We had to do all of this. We had to tear that loose. Re-support all of this. Folks, this was a lot of work. And definitely was not in the scope of work. Definitely was a big blow to us. But we're ready now. We got it all done. We got reinforced door jambs here. We can't put a header up here because it's too low. Because these ceilings are only 6.5 foot, maybe 7 foot ceilings. Not even quite 7 foot, probably 6.5 foot. So we've already made the phone call to have them come back out and let us know what they want us to do with this. We're ready to go. There you have it, folks. We'll see you on the next one.